Hello and welcome back to another episode of It's the Vibe podcast. I am your host, Megan. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I was going to do an epi in the break, but because I was away and, you know what it's like at that time of year, it just gets absolutely hectic, and I'm not one to bulk create my content because I want to talk about something relevant or, something that I'm moving through. So hence we had no episode last week, but this one is an absolute doozy, if I do say so myself. So I hope you had an amazing Christmas and New Year's doing whatever it is that you wanted to do. So I feel like every single year it's like this. It's like the hype around what you should do on Christmas Day and on New Year's Eve. And I feel like that's where social media can play a larger role in kind of like glamorizing this season, especially if you're somebody who isn't into glamorizing this season, right? So you see the matching outfits, the big family gatherings, all the food, all the presents, all the things. Then, come New Year's Eve, you see all the friends hugging at midnight with the glow sticks and, all of these things. So if that was you this year, then please make sure that you sit back and think, holy fuck, I am very, very grateful for that. And if this wasn't you this year and you wanted it to be, I am just sending you so much love. My Christmas was pretty hectic. As I said, we had, I think about 30 of us sat around a table, which was amazing. I had 4 stops in total. So we had my partner's family first on the 23rd. Then we had my mum and stepdad on the 24th. And then we had my dad and his partner's family, us kids all got together early morning on the 25th. And then we went to my aunt and uncle's place with all of the cousins, all of the kids, all of the family friends. So it was a really hectic couple of days. And for somebody that recharges kind of internally and needs to kind of like take a break from all of the socializing, it really made me sit back and reflect on the people that I choose to spend my time with. And it was less exhausting. Obviously, physically exhausting because I ate too much, drank too much, all that fun stuff. But in terms of like needing to recharge my social batteries, it just wasn't as bad this year because I had, the people around me that I wanted around me. There was no pressure. It was no drama. It was just a lot of fun. So I'm incredibly and truly grateful for that. We then hightailed it back up to the river. We stayed, I think we totaled up, it was like 11 cabin loads of us up the river. So I'm very, very sun-kissed today. So if you're watching this on YouTube or catch the little clips on Instagram, you'll see a very, very red Megs, but that's okay. My lips actually got that sunburn, and this is like a rookie mistake. I've grown up at the river, and for some, like whatever reason, I still didn't think to put fucking sunscreen on. Anyway, I did put sunscreen on, I just didn't really apply it to my lips. So I look like I've had filler, which is not fun because it hurts like a motherfucker, but that's okay. But I did have some reflection time to myself during my short break. So in my cabin, in my world, my morning walks along the riverfront is kind of just like my recharging time because, if you look at the personalities that I spend my time with up at the river, it is a lot. So it was a lot of fun just to be able to have, that break and really kind of just like think about what this year has been, think about what this year has meant, and, move forward. So speaking of, I really do actually love seeing everybody else's reflections on the year that was. And I also love seeing the lessons that people learned. And then also what is the upcoming year going to look like. But what I love more than that is seeing people actually take action on it every single day. So it's not just like, first month of January, we've got our new activewear we got for Christmas, we're hitting the gym, we're eating healthy, we're doing the things, we're working on our mindset, and then come February, it's like, oh, fuck it, I'll start again, whenever it's coming into winter and whatnot. So I am all about, and actually this is the whole reason I got into coaching. I had skills that I could support people long-term in making a lifestyle change that was not just for, a couple of months, that was for long-term. And I've had really amazing results and worked with some really amazing people in that space. But what I've found is that we put such a focus on a particular date meaning something, right? So we come into the end of the calendar year and it's like, December 31st is New Year's and we have a blowout, get absolutely hammered, wake up feeling like an absolute piece of shit on the 1st. Or you're somebody who's just like, no, I'm going to go to bed early on the 31st and wake up feeling fresh and hit the new year, new year, new me kind of vibes on the 1st of January as well. And both are fine. Again, you can do both. You can have both. You can be both. Both get to exist as well. So what I decided to do this year is focus less on the traditional calendar and more on the astrological calendar. So I was actually in bed by I swear it was 6:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve. So what are we, when this goes live, it'll be Tuesday the 2nd. So on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. As I said, I had seen some incredibly long days. I had seen some incredibly shitty food and a lot of sun. So my body was just like, nah, we're going to stay in bed. So, and I did, and it was great. It was a complete non-event for me. So I woke up this morning, so I'm recording this on the 1st of January, at 3:08 a.m. to be completely exact, and I felt refreshed, and I was just like, fuck this, I am ready to go. I know exactly what I want to achieve today. I know exactly who I'm going to show up as today, and I had the excitement and the passion for it again. So I did need a couple of days to kind of reset, I suppose, and kind of just not be in routine and not do my own thing. Also, if we want to get super woo-woo, right, Mercury has been in retrograde the last month or whatever, and boy, oh boy, has this one hit me like I cannot believe. I go through these retrogrades and I feel them. I'm such a feeler of a human, but this one kicked my ass. And so, everything astrologically that I went, read or looked at, or everybody who is in the astrology world that I follow, we're all about really recharging, resting, relaxing, in the lead up to the 1st of January, which is when Mercury stations direct, which is exactly what I've done. So I'm recording this podcast to reflect and to bring you some really, I think, insightful lessons on what I have learned. So I'm not even going to call them my lessons. I'm calling them my blessings, right? My blessing lessons. Have they been hard? Yes. Have they sucked? Yes. Whatever. But have they been beyond impactful? Also yes. So I'm not going to do a full unwrap with the details, day by day from last year. It's really just a bit of a summary and then my blessings from that. And this is probably the biggest year for me in terms of my shift as a human. I am really looking at this as my cocoon to butterfly era. And this is the hardest I've ever worked on my mindset, and worked with a long-term mentor, and also been in masterminds and other communities that have supported my growth, not only as a human but also in business as well. So it's really forced me to look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, cool, you've been really accepted and loved by your friends and family, but is that going to get you where you are long-term in business? Or do you need people in your life that are going to hold you to a super high standard of being like, you know what, you said you're going to do this, so you need to do this? And that is the kick at the ass I needed, especially after, I'm going to call it I don't even know what it was. It was my gap 6 months. It was just, I retreated from everything. I completely went, I guess, inward to kind of work out who the fuck I was and what I wanted to do. But it was sort of manifested in me, going out too much, eating shit food, putting on weight, not going to the gym, not focusing on my mental health, not doing all these things. And so looking back on that, it was so necessary for me to do that. I needed that complete reset. I needed that complete start fresh. I need that total and complete. Here we are, we're day one, and we're going to move forward from here. So in a quick little summary, if I look back at 2023, she was a bloody biggie. So I quit my job, full-time job, very well-paying job, quit that. I went full-time into my coaching business. So I wasn't making the money that I needed to sustain my lifestyle. So I had to supplement my coaching business with marketing consulting, basically to make ends meet. Then I booked myself out with marketing clients. Hence, Pink Silhouette Marketing was born. And I had to make huge shifts in my mindset to allow the success of Pink Silhouette Marketing, because basically I deemed anything that wasn't me being a full-time coach and making the money that I wanted to make as a complete fucking failure, which is ridiculous. And I've done an episode on this before, so I won't cover old territory, but it is just insane. It's just so silly. So anyway, I had that reflected back to me. And again, in the form of the mastermind that I was in, it was, I had the ability to have people sit there and hold me in that space and be like, no, this is, what you're projecting. Anyway, here she was. I entered into a new relationship. I launched It's the Vibe podcast and It's the Vibe apparel. If you haven't already, go check it out. But I guess less tangibly, I grew my relationships with my friends and family even deeper. So it was really, really key to me to, I guess, I'm the one that preaches about like you need to love the people in your life, and you're the sum of, I think it's like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So my time is very, very precious to me. Our time is not refundable. Our time is not exchangeable. Our time is not returnable. Okay. So when you think of it like that, and you go through a particular period in your life where you're not having the most fun, where you're not working on yourself, where you're not doing all the things that you want to do, you can't go back and take that back. There's not a point in our lives where we're like a department store that we can be like, do you know what? It wasn't the experience I was looking for. I'm going to go return that, exchange that for something different. This is it. And once I said that phrase to myself, and I don't even know where the fuck this phrase even came from, but it came to me and I was just like, I'm spending time worrying about this thing, like whatever it may be. I'm not getting that time back. I am leaking energy all over the place, wasting my fucking time with something that I should not even be worried about. And this next level version of myself, I swear to God, my higher self would have been like having her hand, like her head in her hands, being like, what is she doing? Is this seriously something she's wasting her energy on? Okay. Now, all of these, things that I've achieved, I suppose, or, I guess my biggest, I'm going to say moments of 2023 required very different versions of me. And believe me, when I say another level, another devil. However, the expansion and growth I've seen in myself in the last 12 months has just been absolutely amazing. And my word for 2023 was expansion. And expand, I bloody did. So my blessings from 2023 that I am going to share with you, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight as to why these are it, I suppose, and what particular event had happened that made these a blessing, I suppose, or made these stick in my head as something that I really learned from. So the first one, no one can make you feel any type of way. And reading this now, I am just so frustrated with myself that I have to remind myself of this, because I am such a feeler and I feel so deeply that I can feel energies. I can feel tension in the air. I feel energy from other people. So if people around me are not like vibing at 100, for a long period of time, it drains the living fuck out of me. Okay. I am not good at holding that kind of energy for too long. I am happy to have a confrontation with somebody to air things out for this exact reason, is because I am so affected by the people around me. However, I am the only one that's in control of my feelings. And if I'm feeling a certain type of way, I refuse to let myself project that onto anybody else, because it's nobody else's responsibility to make myself happy other than my own. Okay, so just remember, no one can make you feel any type of way unless you let them, and then like you just literally hold, like you hand over your power, lock it up in, a suitcase and throw it out the fucking door, because it's so disempowering to give somebody that control over yourself and over the way that you feel. So that's the first one. My second one, which kind of is I guess branches off of the first one, it's not the situation, it's your reaction. How many times have you had I guess not even an incident, but like an altercation with somebody, or an occurrence with somebody, where you then spend the next couple of days thinking about it, being like, oh, I should have said that, or I should have said that. It's like literally like these in the shower moments where you're just like, oh my God, yeah, like, oh, that's what I should have said, or that's how this would have gone. It's not the situation, it's actually your reaction. So how you reacted in the first place has everything to do with you and nothing to do with the situation itself. Your reaction is based off of a bunch of programming of previous experiences from how you're feeling in the moment, your reaction to that situation. So in any given situation, I feel like you have two choices. You can do what I typically like to do, And look, again, I'm not perfect at this. I had a reaction which was not favorable, even in the last couple of days, where I was just like, are you fucking serious? But the two options are, you can take a big breath and you can think to yourself, how would my higher self react in this situation? Is this situation even a situation I need to react to? And if I do react to this situation, am I lowering my frequency or am I raising my frequency? Okay. The second thing you can do is just go fucking nuts and let your, whether it's your ego is bruised or whether it's an emotion that's come up, you can let your emotions drive your mind. And I can tell you which way to go if you want to end up with a little bit of better result, because typically it's not the one where you are, flying, shooting from the hip, and then you think about it 3 days later and you think of the best comeback ever 3 days later, because that's not it. My third blessing from 2023. If it's not the vibe, it's a no from me. And again, this was a reminder, because I will often, and did also recently, spend time in situations and in circumstances and in even places that I was just like, I don't really want to be here. I don't feel good. I am feeling, my whole like demeanor changed. The whole like vibe of myself was lowered and lowered and lowered. And I did nothing but sit and wallow in that. Instead of removing myself from the situation and understanding that whatever I'm thinking obviously is manifesting, and the more time I spend around these people or the more time I spend in this situation, the lower my vibe is going to get. So if it's not the vibe, it's a no from me. And this honestly is like people that you spend time with, situations that you're in, whatever. Now, if you're a big feeler like me, you can literally feel tension when you walk in the room. And I give myself now full fucking permission to walk out. And I also give myself full permission to go and sit on my own to decompress, and to gather myself, back together before I can either continue on in the situation or whatever. Because if I operate from a space of feeling like I am in fight or flight, I'm going to overreact to everything. I'm not going to feel good, and I'm not going to be very fun to be around. So that is why we are making sure that whatever we're doing is the absolute vibe. Hence the name of the podcast. Now, my next blessing from 2023, love the people who love you and love them to the point of it being weird. I saw this meme like just recently and I shared it, and I do. If you're in my life and I love you, you fucking know about it. Like, I will smother you with affection and love and literally be annoying, and I just don't really care. And if you are my goddaughter, and this one probably cops it more than most, I will literally squish onto her cheeks and kiss her face as much as I possibly can. I am the person that will hang off of you. I am the person that will just outpour my love and be there for you. Now, I love being that person, and I love being known as that person. And there is a reason that in my family, I am referred to as Mama Megs. It comes at a cost, I will say, because the more you show love and the more people love you back for being that version of yourself, that they can literally trust you, they'll know that you'll be there for them. Okay, you tend to absorb things that may not be for you. You might become, an emotional dumping ground, or you might become somebody that is just literally, the only time you're going to call me is to vent to me. So there is something in the way that you kind of discern this part, and being the person who loves everybody and who's always there for everybody, they'll typically say is the most unhappy. So that is why I make sure that the people that I absolutely shower with my love, I get that in return from them. That's really, really critical for me. And I have like my day oneers in my life that I could not fucking live without. And, even people recently that have come into my life that have become so important to me. It doesn't matter a length of time. It doesn't matter like anything. It's literally how they make you feel, how they treat you. And also if their actions align with their words. That's another key thing for me. So love the people who love you and love them to the point of it being weird as fuck. Love it. My next blessing from 2023. If you prioritize personal development, you'll outgrow some relationships, including one with yourself. Now, this is a bitter pill to swallow, because when you're in a situation or you're in a whatever, and I noticed this so much this year, I will say, because there are certain people I'll hang around with once a year, or certain people I'll only kind of see as we go into the holiday seasons or the silly season or whatever you want to call it. that I had particular connections with last year, right? We'd have conversations, it would be fine, whatever. Coming into this year, during the growth that I've done, I didn't have the same feeling with them. I didn't have the same connection with them. And it was really, really difficult. I literally felt myself being like, I can be like the old mates who will fit in with this crowd, who will do all these things. And then it brought up all this other stuff and like mirrored back to me. Like I'm literally just doing whatever I can to fit in again, when I've done nothing but try and outgrow that person who was doing that last year, or 2022, right? Personal development is so life-changing. And I don't say that lightly. I really mean that. Once you head down this path and you become, I guess, awareness is like a double-sided coin. I think I've said this before as well, right? You've got the awareness piece where you're like, oh my God, I'm so aware. Like I'm doing all these things and it's so unconscious. Oh my God, like this is amazing. On the other side of that coin is like, holy fuck, I'm so aware. I have so much work to do. I have all this, right? So when you prioritize personal development, and the relationship with yourself changes, ultimately your relationship with others will change. And it's your choice then to either stay the same person that you are, to fit in with that person, or accept those people for who they are, love them for who they are still, but choose to surround yourself more with the people who are aligned with the person that you're becoming. Okay. Now, my next blessing, from 2023. Being in the moment is everything. Recreating a moment is never going to be the same. And boy, was this mirrored to me in this last week. So every year we go up the river with my family and family friends, and we all get cabins, we take the boats out, we do all these things. In 2021, when I first got my boat, it was like the happiest time of my life. Like I had the people around me that I loved. I had, really was forming new relationships with people. I was stepping into this new version of myself. And I was happy to kind of be the person that would kind of like go with the flow and do what everybody else was doing and whatever. And it was all fine. There was one moment that I recall so vividly, that we were driving to Cordo Winery, which is where we used to go down when it was open. And we would take boatloads of us and literally cruise down there. I had the 11 most important people to me who were at the river in the boat with me. The music was cranking. We were having some drinks. I wanted that moment with those people so much that I manifested this boat, right? Because when I was thinking about this boat, manifesting it and sitting in the visualization of it, that was the exact moment. So when I was looking forward to that moment this year, like 2 years had gone by because we had the floods last year, we didn't go to the river. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. These people certainly are not the same people they were 2 years ago either. So recreating that moment and wanting to sit in that feeling again is just not realistic. So when I hear the song, it's like, I think it's Macklemore and Kesha, and it's like somebody told me then that these would be the good old days. So looking back now, knowing that those are the good old days really is hard. It's hard for me. And when I was writing these notes, that's what I probably got the most emotional about, because I was like, I'm never going to have that again. But knowing that I'm going to be able to create some really beautiful memories, either with my family and friends that will go up there, or with, new people in my life, or whatever that may look like, I will feel that way again. I just need to dream bigger, think bigger, look bigger, go higher, because I've done it. I've done it at that level. So I can't keep being the same. So reminder, always be in the moment, because you can't get it back. My next blessing from 2023, meet yourself where you're at and love that version. You can't hate yourself into change. I've fucking tried it. You name it, I have tried to do it from a lens of hate. You need to understand that you are where you are because of your past decisions. And you can't go into the past because the past is not a thing. So what you can do now is meet yourself where you're at and love the fuck out of that version of yourself. Be like, you know what? She has done some cool shit. She has got me here. She's doing all the things that she can to improve. I love her. So again, treat yourself like you're your best friend, and actually love yourself for who you are currently, and love yourself for the future version that you are going to be. Do not try and create change from hate. It doesn't fucking work. My next lesson from 2023, time does not exist. Time is not a thing. You can meet somebody and become close in literally 2 days, closer than you are with somebody that you've known for 2 years. Connection is everything. Time means nothing. You can do something in, one period of time in your life and go and do it again, exactly like I tried to do, and it's completely different. Time does not exist. My next lesson from 2023 is how you do one thing is how you do everything else. And I was really good at being the career galley that was like, you know what, I'm like doing all things in my career and I'm like exceeding, I'm doing this, but I really need energy, so I'm going to eat shit food. But then I would find it would leak into other areas as well. So I'd be too tired from work, so I would not go to the gym that day. And you see the snowball, right? How you do one thing is how you do everything. And I liken this to, and I cannot for the life of me remember where I actually heard this, but if you're the type of person that puts the trolleys back in the trolley bay, you're the type of person that can do harder things, because that may seem like a really simple thing, right? But so many people don't do it. Like I look at the shopping centers and it's just like, well, one, because I don't want anyone to hit my car, but two, it's so simple. And I used to just leave it too, but now I will not, because I know if I let small things like that slip, in other areas, it's going to slip too. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. Now, my next lesson from 2023, holding 2 types of opposing energies, hello duality, is hard as fuck. It's so hard. It is so hard to hold yourself in the energy of I am absolutely killing it in life. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm achieving. And on the other end of that, have crippling anxiety, having, feeling like you're going absolutely nowhere, feeling like you have nothing to show for all your hard work, but sitting in both and knowing that both can exist and both have their, their jobs, and both have their reasons for sort of being there as well. So that is probably one of the hardest lessons I've learned this year is, especially the 2 types of opposing energies I was feeling, because again, being the feeler that I am, I feel energies so deeply. So it was like unimaginable angst and like unimaginable pleasure. Like both were existing at the same time, and it was sending my mind into a bloody tailspin. So that is hard as fuck to do, but know that you can do it. And it will look different for everybody, I know. And that's a really top level example. And I'm diving deeper into energetics in 2024 because this just fascinates the living fuck out of me. Because especially when I talk about, light and dark, masculine, femme energies, as I'm learning more about kind of that and the spaces that I operate from in these different energies. And it's so amazing and so cool what we can do in life. Now, my final blessing from 2023, approach everyone and everything with love and compassion. Everybody is facing a battle you know nothing about. Now, we have these people in our life that drive us nuts. We have these people that we don't like for fuck knows whatever reason, or we do have a reason not to like them, And again, how we approach these people is how things are going to, unfold. You can have a situation where somebody either does something to you or says something to you or whatever the case may be. And again, this is like a bitch that you're dealing with, in your group, for example. I'm not talking about really, really deep stuff here. But they're all fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So if you approach them with love and compassion, as opposed to from your ego, the outcome is going to be dramatically different. Now, their reaction might not be, because they're very likely, if they're attacking you, are not going to be at the same energetic level as you, and that's okay. But you can walk away from any situation if you've approached it with love and compassion, knowing that you effectively have done the best you can do. You can have an argument with somebody and you can say awful things back if they start saying shit things to you. And you walk away and you might feel like, I got the upper hand there, or I got whatever. But you have no idea what's going on in the other person's head, what's going on in the other person's life that caused them to react that way. So if you own your own shit and you know why you react from certain spaces that you do, that gives you a superpower to come back with love and compassion every single time. And have a think about if you ever have an altercation with somebody, and again, I'm talking not like a physical altercation, I'm talking about like you have words with somebody, or you have an argument with somebody that you don't like. If you know that by sitting back and letting them get it all out, you see the way that they act, you see people around you and the way that they're like, oh, holy shit, like, did they really just say that? And if you're able to sit there and hold it and how you're feeling and not throw shit back just because they are doing it, that is a fucking superpower. And you will be seen, obviously, not only as the bigger person, okay, but also the person that chose to not spray back, which is huge, I think, when you're talking about, de-escalating a situation. So approach everybody and everything with love and compassion, including yourself, because you're facing a battle you don't know nothing about, because that's what our subconscious is. So they are my blessings from 2023. She's been a year of learning. Holy moly. But it's been amazing. So my word, I guess, for 2024 is going to be surrender, which I suck at. So I'm working on that this year. And I have been asked a few times now how I set New Year's intentions, and whether I do New Year's resolutions. Now, last year, my answer would have been very, very different. I actually did a whole course on it. It's called Align with Your Future Self, which I've just gone back and updated for funsies. I don't know if I'm going to release it yet, but I just wanted to kind of like implement the knowledge that I have now. And she's potent. Like I probably will release it, but, TBC. But my simple answer when I get asked this is I've got very clear on the idea of who my next level version is, what she stands for, what her daily habits are, what she wants to feel like every day, what mark she wants to leave on the world. And that is my intention for 2024, is to show up as her on the good days and especially the bad days, because it's really easy to show up on a good day, right? Easy. You're feeling good, you go in the gym, you're eating healthy, you're smashing your business, you're being kind to people, all the things, right? But when you're not feeling like that, or you're not well, or you've had a shit day at work, or your partner's driving you nuts, or, whatever, right? It's very, very hard to show up on those days. So I am committed to showing up as her every single day until I meet her, integrate with her, and then we are literally on to the next. And I know how I can collapse time to get her to me as quickly as possible, or should I say get myself to her as quickly as possible. I know exactly how I need to show up. I know exactly the things that I need to do, and really we are about implementing and bloody surrendering this year. So I encourage you to do the same. Meet yourself where you're at, give yourself some love and compassion. If it's not where you want it to be, that's absolutely fine. We're starting from here. And make the next level version of you, if you don't know who she is, someone that you look up to and admire. And integrate the parts of that person that you love in particular, or the way that they, the way that they show up, the things that they do, how they spend their days, the kind of friendship circles they have, the relationship that they've got with their friends, all that kind of stuff. And show up as her every damn day, without question, without fail, without exception. Okay, because that is how we transcend off our current timeline, off of the things that we're doing, into our new timeline, meeting that new future version of ourselves, meeting our higher self, getting closer to her. So that is how I will be showing up in 2024. I'm very excited for, one, Mercury retrograde being over, but two, to really be able to cement into what I already know to be true, and really just, fly out of my little cocoon from here, because we had to do a lot to get out of that cocoon. So my little butterfly wings are flapping away, and I am just so excited, and I can't wait to take you guys all on the journey with me. So do some reflection, work on your lessons, really integrate them, and be so grateful for them, because yes, they're hard and they were probably shit times, but they are going to teach you things that just reading about it or whatever never will. So you can continue to transcend, right? So I love you so much. I hope this was an insightful podcast into my little life. And as always, message me. I love to speak to you guys. I love seeing you guys in my DMs, and I appreciate more than I can ever say when people tag me that they are watching me on YouTube or listening to the podcast on Spotify. Apple Podcasts, all those good things. So I love you so much. And here is to 2024.